ever wondered how Peter goes from diving into a room filled with gold coins,
It's not a liquid!
being completely penniless and living on the street?
We had $150 million and we blew through it in a month.
Let me tell you, Peter Griffin's finances are completely bonkers. So I got out my trusty handy-dandy calculator to figure out what Peter's net worth actually is. And to do that, we need to add up all of his savings, his valuable assets like his vehicles and his real estate, then subtract it by the amount of debt he's accumulated. First, we need to figure out how much money he makes. Peter Griffin is not a wealthy man by any means. In fact, he's just your average white-collar worker. Heck, most of the time he's struggling to get by. We see the family struggling for money quite a lot, but the episode where Peter and Chris switched lives really showed it off best in my opinion. Chris had to go to work in Peter's place, and we got to see how anyone would go insane from stress if they had to deal with Peter's expenses.
Maybe we could ask to borrow some from Mr. Quagmire.
Like to see me walk next door, hat in hand, and ask him for money. You know what? Instead, let's just go knock on all the doors of all our neighbors and tell them I'm a failure.
Chris, please, I'm sorry.
Say it!
Chris is a failure.
So what is his salary exactly like? Well, back in the early seasons of the show, Peter was a safety inspector at the Happy-Go-Lucky toy factory. It wasn't the most glamorous job in the world. Seriously, he even had kids making fun of him on career day.
I bet you're just one of those low-level assembly line guys screwing heads on dolls. Boo!
Why, you little snot-nosed...
Mr. Griffin.
At least the job paid the bills, right? Well, at least it did, until the episode Mr. Saturday Night. Peter wasn't happy with his dead-end job, especially after that superb roast from a little boy. So he invited his boss over for dinner, and it went fantastic. Heck, he even got a raise right then and there. The shock of which got Brian choking on his dinner.
Brian, quit it. You're embarrassing me here.
Peter, Brian's choking.
He's dead.
He dies. Very quickly, might I add. And his last wish was to turn the Happy-Go-Lucky toy factory into a terminal disease center. Obviously not the kind of place that Peter's expertise is really needed. He ends up getting another job, his current and longest running job at the Pawtucket Brewery. His specific role isn't clear, but fans theorize that he's a shipping clerk. According to Glassdoor.com, Peter makes about $45,000 per year. At this point, all I need to do is calculate his savings and his valuable assets, and I'd be able to tell you how much Peter Griffin's net worth is, right? You fool! You have no idea how deep this goes. Sorry, that was really rude of me. You're not a fool. I'm the fool for calling you a fool. Allow me to explain just how wacky Peter's finances are, really. First off, what are his savings like? Laughably bad. I feel that. But don't take my word for it. We actually see them talking about it on the show.
Gather round for prayer.
God, we're very sorry we cyberbullied that girl to death. Today, though, please let there be money in our bank account.
Amen. Damn it, we're still poor.
When Lois says they're poor, she means it. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got like $5 in that account. And when I'm done, you'll understand exactly why. Other than his savings, we can calculate the value of Peter's vehicles to determine his net worth, so let's do just that. Starting with the SS, more powerful than Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and the Incredible Hulk put together. A boat he bought from a police auction for $50,000. After purchasing it, Peter became a fisherman to pay the bills, but that did not last very long.
Here's to fish.
Hey, could I have one of those?
Hey, Death, what are you doing here?
Because of that.
Fishing in a dangerous part of the sea and got his boat sunk. Goodbye, $50K. I'm just gonna assume for his sake that he didn't go into debt to pay for that boat. Meaning that the best Peter's got is the family car, which according to fans is a heavily used 1975 Ford LTD station wagon. It might have been worth something in the past, but now he'd be lucky to sell it off to anyone at all. Especially after the many times he has crashed the darn thing. Hell, I'm surprised that it's even moving now. This man has pretty much nothing of value, and his net worth is looking at like a big fat nothing right about now. And I know what you're thinking, what about his house? That's gotta be worth at least a few $100,000 at least. Oh, you sweet summer child. Bold of you to assume Peter actually owns the house he lives in. In this economy? See, the Griffin house is canonically worth $357,958, which is quite the prettiest of pennies, and normally a mortgage would subtract from his total net worth, but Peter isn't even that lucky. He's not paying a mortgage. How do we know that? Well, in the episode Herpy the Love Sore, Peter gets a package at the door and it turns out it's Quagmire's. Not gonna stop him from opening it though.
I'm gonna open the box. Ah, sweet, it's a whip.
Remember, we're renting this house.
That's depressing.
It isn't just depressing, Stewie. It's also expensive as all hell. A quick hop on Zillow will tell you that a 4-bed, 2-bath duplex in Rhode Island, about half the size of the Griffins, will run you anywhere from $3,500 to $4,500 per month on rent. I'll be nice and stick with the lower end of the price range. After all, he's been living there since the 90s. But even still, after 1 year of paying rent, he's already down 42 grand. I know, they've mentioned paying a mortgage a couple of times in the show, but this is funnier, so we'll go with that instead. If almost all his money is tied up just paying for the house, what happens with the rest of it? Well, $3,000 is going to go very far in this economy, apparently, so we can just assume he spends the rest on bills and, surviving. It's a miracle he can even keep the lights on at this point. No wonder Chris went crazy when they switched lives.
That pain in my stomach is back. Ow! What? What are you looking at? I can fight you both. You don't know what I go through every day. Now go to sleep, the both of you.
By the way, this is exactly why I say he's got like $5 in his savings account. We aren't even done calculating his net worth, by the way, because here comes the next part of calculating all the debt he's accumulated. And boy, howdy, is this man in some debt. The kind of debt that'll have you declaring bankruptcy 3 times over. And this isn't just some fan theory either. In the show, they actually let us know how much the Griffins are struggling financially, meaning debt is the only way for Peter to finance his wacky lifestyle. Allow me to exhibit some examples here. In the episode, There's Something About Polly, Peter and Lois agonize over the fact that they only have one family car.
I've been in and out of taxis all day. Then I had to pick Meg up after school. We really need a second car. Trying to do all these errands in a taxi is exhausting.
It's a pretty big deal, so they go to a used car lot to buy another one.
Oh, look. Oh, aren't you beautiful? Yeah, you like that, don't you? You're a bad little car. What's that? You want me inside you?
Didn't know you could, but yeah, it turns out you can harass a car. There's just one problem, though. Peter picked the worst car in the lot to
Peter, this car has dents in it. And look, there's no engine.
But it only had one previous owner, James Bond.
I wasn't kidding when I said this is the worst car. Heck, it might just be the worst used car ever sold. You can see the buyer's remorse coming from a mile away.
Let's see what this baby can do, huh? Well, I'm sure the dealer will take care of it.
The dealer did not take care of it at all. This purchase hit the Griffins so badly that Peter had to make a deal with the mafia to get a new car. And why am I bothering telling you all this? Well, so you can understand what I mean when I say the Griffins are broke, and why everything I'm about to tell you was 100% financed by debt. In the episode Hell Comes to Quahog, Peter decides to buy Meg her first car, and they head to a dealership where they meet a very familiar face.
What can you tell me about this one?
Oh, that's just an old tank I use for those commercials. Now, about that sedan.
Yeah, hang on there, Slick. You dangle this tank in front of me and expect me to walk away. Now I demand you tell me more about this tank.
They can barely afford a crappy used car, but Peter's out here eyeing a tank. Absurd, yes. Idiotic, yes. Within his budget, no. But that ain't gonna stop him.
What are the tank's safety features?
3 inches of reinforced steel protects your daughter from short-range missile attacks.
These are the questions. This is why I'm here.
This is a 30-ton war machine.
Still not sure.
Did I mention the tank is a tank?
Sold.
This isn't just some prop either. It's a genuine M24 Chaffee with a working engine and main gun. Easily worth about $400,000. So why didn't I count it when calculating his assets? Because the dumbass frackin' loses it. Owning a tank gets to his head and he really gets reckless with it, even running down the neighborhood's cop.
Joe, my God, what happened?
I don't know where you got that thing, but I'm impounding it.
You look like a half-empty toothpaste.
That's $400,000 gone like the wind. I'm gonna have to start a count for all the debt he owes, because this is just the beginning. Another vehicle I can't add to his assets is the food truck he bought in the episode Saturated Fat Guy. He called it Eat My Junk because he wanted to sell junk food and eat it as well.
I can't believe you'd buy a food truck. What are you even selling?
Mostly hamburgers where the buns is jelly donuts.
You know, basically the most unhealthy food known to man. Now, obviously owning and running a food truck is not cheap, but he could easily recoup his losses. But this is Peter we're talking about. That ain't gonna happen. See, Lois ain't happy with Peter's unhealthy lifestyle and banishes him from the house. So he starts living in the truck and eating all his merchandise, and I do mean all of it. He got so fat they had to rip off the top of his truck just to get him out.
Hey, Lois. Guess you must be happy.
It's every girl's dream to have a husband hoisted out of a food truck in a horse harness.
I'm a big tub of lard, and you have every reason to be ashamed of me.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Peter took another massive loss on that truck. According to the internet, it costs about $141,000 to buy and operate a food truck, and Peter's truck is severely damaged, absolutely destroying any resale value. We're just gonna add that to his debt. Now let's have a quick rundown of the many wacky and insanely expensive things Peter Griffin has purchased over the years. First, of course, we have to lead with the Peter Copter.
To the Peter Copter!
Oh God! What the hell?
Joe, get inside! No! No!
Looks like a relatively small turbine helicopter to me, so that's about $30,000 more dollars. Then we've got the Megcopter, not as cool, but hey, he never got her that used car, so this'll have to do.
To the Megcopter! Down there. It looks like me with a green shirt. He's murdering a lady.
Just like the Peter Copter, but with some exquisite detailing work, so that's another $30,000. We also got the Peterang.
To the Peterang! I was at the hospital for a brief moment.
Don't ask me how much it costs to design, build, and install a giant boomerang capable of propelling an overweight man across town. We're just gonna add another 30 grand to that. And of course, the Hinden Peter.
To the Hinden Peter! Joe, I am so sorry.
How can you afford these things?
Incredible amounts of debt, Joe. Incredible amounts of debt. Blimps are crazy expensive. Even the small ones can go up to like $2 million. So yeah, we're just gonna add that to his debt. But I think my favorite insane purchase is the time he got the Statue of Liberty's foot.
All right, back it up, guys. I know you have a foot fetish, so I got you the Statue of Liberty's foot.
Jones all the foot I need now.
Quagmire, that's the real foot from the Statue of Liberty.
No, I'm okay.
See, Quagmire was getting married and he was quitting his old perverted ways, so his friends decided to stop him from going through with it, and that meant pulling out all the stops.
Do you have any idea what I went through to get this? Oh, here comes Peter with the Statue of Liberty's foot. Oh, isn't that a gas? Now, this cost me $437,000. Don't ask me how I got it. So the very least you can do is just rub up against, I don't know.
$437,000 just to stop a wedding. I think it's been fairly well established now that Peter is very bad with money. But would you believe me if I told you that this wasn't even the most recklessly expensive thing he's ever bought? You probably would. Because there was this time he set up an entire space shuttle launch on his own lawn.
Peter, what the hell is that?
A space shuttle, Lois. With unlimited free gas, I can finally afford to go into space.
Every time you seem to be in some ridiculous vehicle you've inexplicably acquired.
Say own lawn like he owns it. He tells Lois he got the shuttle at a NASA auction for next to nothing because it has mechanical issues, but I think he's lying. Not only did it work, take him to space for 3 days, this shuttle is capable of re-entry with no issues. Mechanical issues, my ass. I don't know how he pulled it off, but somehow he acquired a $500 million space shuttle. And in case you're wondering, yes, the concept of debt does exist in the Family Guy universe. In the episode Family Gay, Peter gets a brain-damaged horse and takes it to the racetrack.
Horsey, go!
Even runs like it's messed up in the head.
Obviously, that horse shouldn't be anywhere near a racetrack. It veers off and gets into the stands, doing some major damage. I think someone died, even. The incident leaves the Griffins in an even worse financial situation, of course.
$100,000 worth of damage.
Look, can we not talk about the horse, please? It's gone. It suffered a fatal heart attack, and I disposed of it properly.
Just gonna add that $100K to the debt pile. Now, there are a few theories about how Peter's able to afford all this. Some say it's because he married money. Seeing as Lois's family is incredibly rich, he can afford to buy all these things, but I disagree. Like, you've seen any episode with Carter Peterson in it, you know there's no way in hell that dude would ever willingly fund any of Peter's wacky hijinks. So let me present my own theory. I think he's able to do all this thanks to the insanely high credit limit the banks give him. But why, I hear you asking, would they let Peter Griffin spend $437,000 on the Statue of Liberty's foot, you may ask? Well, that's because he's the son-in-law of one of the richest people in Rhode Island, married to the sole heir to the Peter Smith fortune. Convincing banks to give him an insanely high credit limit is actually quite doable, but hey, that's just a theory. See, that there's no way that sounded like Matt Pat. Some of you guys say I sound like Matt Pat. Like, I'm not Matt Pat, you are. The real answer is that Family Guy is just a comedy cartoon divorced from all reality. They actually tell us how all this works in the episode Farmer Guy. Peter wants to move his family to somewhere wholesome and he wants to buy a farm, but farms aren't exactly cheap now, are they? So we get this exchange.
Well, the going rate for my farm is $875,000.
Nobody called ahead?
What?
Somebody from Fox was supposed to call ahead. They usually take care of it.
I didn't get no phone call. Yes, that'll be fine.
Ah.
Apparently, Fox itself is footing all of Peter's bills. Is that the Fox from the real world, or is it the Fox from the show funding Peter's life? Why would they do that? Does he have connections, or is his life a reality show? It's all very confusing, but that's our answer, I guess. So ultimately, what is Peter Griffin's net worth? Well, if we ignore that last part about Fox funding everything, he's in debt $503,168,000. Yeah, and it's just gonna get worse from here. Now, if you want to see a character in an even more precarious situation than Peter, click the link on screen now. Thanks for watching.